welcome to Steve Knows. I've got a top 10 list of the most wonderful and bizarre uses of virtual reality I could find. There are some crazy things here. Please let me know if there's anything that you found completely mind-boggling and comment below. So let's get started. Swapping bodies with the opposite sex. This was a gender swap experiment set up by Another Lab, which puts two users of the opposite sex into a virtual reality setting, where they can experience each other's bodies as if they were their own. The other wearer's headset is showing the sensory inputs of the other user, so when they move together it gives the impression that they have a whole other body. This is interesting for people who perhaps struggle with identifying with themselves, so maybe this can be an even more powerful tool. Good job, VR. Dealing with anxiety. In this modern day, people are being diagnosed constantly, every day, with anxiety issues. Often people are suggested techniques to deal with it, or a therapist to consult with. Psychologists treat and advise people who have phobias to find ways to slowly adapt and face their fears. So many scenarios have been created where the user can experience these situations via virtual reality headsets, allowing them to face their anxiety and their phobias in a more comfortable setting. Therapeutic VR treats fear of flying, elevators, and now smoking. Training staff. We have seen the anti-terrorist response unit using VR in order to train, as in VR they can experience real-life situations and see what it's like firsthand, the kinds of things they have to respond to. This isn't new either. Flight simulators have been in use for a number of years to train pilots before their big day flying hundreds of people across the ocean. Other examples of VR being used to train professionals are paratrooping, soldiers, welding, and surgery. You don't want to hear it's the surgeon's first day on the job, do you? Simulating death. Frank Kolkman created a virtual reality experience that is supposed to simulate death and the out-of-body experience. The experience was created with the testimonies of many people who had near-death experiences or are in the process of dying due to a terminal illness. It's supposed to provide peace and awareness to those who are dying, or people with extreme fear of it, as they can have some answers to the unknown. It aims to mimic the out-of-body experience that many people quote to have who have had a near-death experience. Add a dose of DMT and we will be set. Exploring the world. Before the modern day, if you wanted to experience another country and tourist sites, you'd need a map book and a return ticket to your destination. Or the next best thing was Google Earth. Now you can put on your virtual reality headset and visit nearly any location in the world via Google Earth VR with Street View or other applications that are dedicated to tourism. There's even Nat Geo if you want to visit the rainforest without having to leave your living room. So in a single day you can visit the Roman baths, the Eiffel Tower, even the stunning peaks of South Africa. That's a pretty cost-effective method. Ease pain and suffering. Growing up, I was told that TV is a painkiller for children as they get invested in their shows and become less conscious of their physical pain. Well, VR can do this to another level. A study conducted in August 2019 showed positive results with patients' pain reception when using virtual reality. It can be used for distracting patients during wound care when they need to have them redressed. The results of the study were that people who watched TV to distract them from pain had a pain score drop of 0.46, whilst VR users dropped 1.72. Now, I may not be a doctor, but I know that's nearly 4 times more effective. Decapitated. You can experience what it's like to live during the French Revolution as a criminal who's been caught and justice must be served. How, you ask? With the decapitation of one's head. This is not a good day. You get placed in a guillotine, which is the large device with a blade. Whilst locked into it, you can look around and see the crowd upset with your actions, wanting you to pay for your crimes. You do this whilst waiting for your execution until then finally, that big guillotine blade falls and off comes your head. Game over. It's said the head is to still be functioning 10 seconds after decapitation. I wonder what they're going to be thinking to themselves. Give yourself a migraine. Here's a tip: if you want to get out of class or a stressful day of work, give yourself a migraine with a virtual reality experience from a medical company that sells migraine medicine. If you're someone that doesn't suffer from migraines, then perhaps try this experience so you can empathize with others. People at Excedrin have created a VR experience that simulates bright lights and disorientating sounds. Sounds like a challenge. The idea behind it is to show non-sufferers what people go through who do suffer. I've had some myself and they are awful. A common theme in VR is to allow you to put yourself in other people's shoes. Excedrin could be suspected of trying to sell more of their migraine medicine. Experience Jesus Christ, 0 BC to 0 AD. What was it like to be around during biblical times when Jesus Christ roamed the earth and was put on the cross for our sins in the New Testament? Awesome Productions and VR Works have created a 90-minute VR story of that period of time. You'll get to experience the scenes of Christ's birth in a stable we commonly see in Nativity, his death on the cross where the Romans sentenced him, the resurrection from the cave, and some of his famous miracles like turning water into wine. A potentially powerful experience for the religious folk. Perhaps the next religious studies lessons we get a VR day. Crime scene investigation. Minehunters and CSI agents, the people over at Staffordshire University, had a vision of what crime scene investigation will look like in the future. Crime scenes can be captured with a VR camera, and jurors can actually experience the location of events rather than just hearing stories told by prosecutors and defenders. This is a great use of VR as imaginations can run wild. It's hard to hide from the facts when you're staring at it. This would also mean investigators can also use the simulation of evidence without having to visit the scene, which could have been altered with time, especially cold cases that are reopened years later, and it would not be possible to revisit the crime scene. Well, that's it from me. I hope there was something you found really interesting. There's lots of mind-boggling uses for virtual reality there that's not just gaming. So thanks for watching. Steve knows. Happy gaming. Good day.